15 kilometers, that's about 9 miles away from the Syrian military's front line with ISIS. Now, this is near the Raqqa area, and needless to say that there's a lot of anger here among the soldiers, but also among the generals at these airstrikes that have taken place, and where the Syrian military and the Syrian government say that more than 80 of their soldiers have been killed around Deir ez-Zor, and about 120 were wounded in that incident. Now, the Syrian government goes even further and says that because of those airstrikes that took place, in which they blame on the U.S.-led coalition, that ISIS was actually able to advance there in Deir ez-Zor, taking a strategically very important hill overlooking the Deir ez-Zor airport. We have to keep in mind that in that area, the Syrian military is actually surrounded by ISIS, as are about 300,000 civilians in Deir ez-Zor as well. So it's a very important battlefield, but also one where the Syrian military and a lot of civilians are still under siege, one of the biggest besieged areas here in this country. Now, the U.S., for its part, says it did conduct airstrikes in that area and may have accidentally hit the Syrian military while it was trying to hit ISIS targets. The Russians, for their part, are even blaming the U.S. and saying that they are possibly colluding with ISIS. This is, of course, something the U.S. very much rejects. All of this, of course, very bad for the current ceasefire here in Syria, which is having a hard time anyway. We were in Aleppo last night where there was a lot of shelling that could be heard. There was also one very loud thud that we heard, followed by airplane noises. So while the U.S., the UN, and Russia all say that they believe that the ceasefire is still holding, it certainly does appear as though there are more breaches than there have been in the past couple of days. And the other thing that's also a very big problem is that aid that was supposed to reach a lot of these besieged areas is still stuck on the border between Turkey and Syria. And this incident, of course, is something that makes all of this, the whole situation, a lot more difficult. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Asri.